Good morning. It is December the 8th, 8:36 a.m. my time. It's a beautiful morning. It's probably in the 70s. A little humid, always a tinge of humidity. But that's okay. I decided to have on some sandals for my walk this morning. I need to find me some actual walking sandals. I'm so glad I just thought about that because it's nice to have your toes out when you're walking. Jeez. Especially when it's humid out. But I am just enjoying the weather and my walk. This is my special time of the day. Look at the kitty. Oh, good morning. Yeah, so I'm out doing my little walk. I'm not the only person that comes out about this time and walking, seeing my neighbors and all that. There's a really cute kitty that kind of follows this lady around. It's really sweet. I actually just got off the phone with my sister not too long ago, and she's going through a bit of a spiritual transformation herself. And we were on the topic of being around people that you feel are in alignment with what you're trying to realize in your life, that's not influencing you on another path. Because I think we try to act like, we're not highly influenced by people, but that would be a lie. That would be a lie. I think. That's just my opinion. So, she has been working on creating healthier relationships. And sometimes that means, kind of falling back on other relationships. And that's a hard thing to do because you have love for these people and they're people just like you. They have their own journey. But if their journey isn't in alignment with your journey, it could be a conflict of interest. And that could be a tough thing to do, is to kind of go your own way. Especially if the person doesn't want to go their own way. And creating that space can be really difficult. And it's sad for you too, because it's a part of you that, wish it didn't have to be that way. But whenever you have to question, the health of the relationship, or you just have to question your relationship with them anyway, it's just very kind of problematic to you. That's a telltale sign. If you feel like they're draining you or bringing you down, that could be a telltale sign. And like I said, it could be a tricky road because in relationships in general, you're going to have issues with people that you're in a relationship with. They're only human. You're only human. There's bound to be some kind of conflict. But if you feel drained, and that's me, for me, if I feel drained being around somebody, then that is just a telltale sign for me that it may not be the best relationship for me. And that's okay. It's okay. It's nothing wrong with them per se, nothing wrong with me per se. It's just, like I said, we're going in different directions, and it's pulling me off of my path a bit, and it feels conflicting. So we were talking about that because she has a friendship that is just problematic for her because she feels that the girl has a lot of drama, and she feels like the girl will pull her into the drama. And it's kind of like that guilty by association type of thing, right? And like I told her, the girl may not be ready to face her demons. She may not even be aware. Her awareness may not even be there of the things that she's doing and the path that she's going down. So it may not be her journey right now to be on the same journey that you are on. And that's okay. But you have to do what you need to do for you. And that's the hard part, is creating that space. I feel like I have been constantly doing that these past couple of years, just creating space. And it's been hard because I always feel like, but this is a good person. But I'm like, everybody has good and everybody has bad. But that, just because a person has good doesn't mean that they are compatible with you. And that's a hard pill to swallow for me, because I deeply empathize with people. I feel them. I feel the beauty that they have. And so it makes me want to be invested. But, a lot of times, it's a wrong thing for me because I'm feeling drained. And there's relationships in my life that feel fantastic. My sister, for instance, she got her things going on, she got her drama, but when we're together or when we talk, it's a very uplifting conversations for me. I feel heard, I feel understood, right? And it's a good thing. And so I kind of use the healthy relationships in my life now as a guide, to when I'm in relationships with people that is conflicting, right? And like I said, we all want companionship, and it doesn't always just mean romantic companionship. It's friendship, it's family. We are social creatures. So that's a natural instinct, is to be a part of, have social activity, have connections with others. And so I don't fight that drive, but I also understand that if I am not, being smart about my relationships, it can be harmful connecting with the wrong people. So that's a part of a spiritual journey, is, being selective about your relationships. Every relationship, every person, what I'm noticing, everyone doesn't have to be your BFF. I have a social circle that I've been hanging out with, which is really fun for me because I get to do cool activities and things like that with them. But everybody won't be my BFF. Some people I will connect with more than others, and that's fine. I don't think you have to feel bad about that. Like, I was hanging out with one of the girls and she felt bad because she doesn't necessarily connect with another girl that has been kind of in our group, and she felt bad because she didn't invite her to certain things. They just don't gel. And I'm like, hey, I don't think you have to feel bad about that. You're being honest about it. That's fine. You're not being malicious. It's not like you're being nasty or mean to her. You just don't want to hang out with her like that. That's okay. I feel like that's just freaking fine. And just because, the one girl doesn't want to hang out with her doesn't mean that I can't hang out with the girl. I still like the girl, right? It's something about her energy that I understand. And, I still don't mind hanging out with her. And at first I was feeling like kind of in conflict with that, feeling like I was in the middle. But I'm like, no, you're putting yourself in the middle. You don't have to be. You don't have to be. Just because somebody else doesn't really want to hang out with someone doesn't mean that you don't have to hang out. It doesn't have to be that big of a deal. You guys are adults, right? So, but it's a part of the journey. Everybody won't be everybody's cup of tea. And then some people that you feel, is your cup of tea in the long run may not be healthy for you. So it's always that influx of relationships. People will be with you in your life for seasons. Nothing is completely permanent. And I think understanding that permanence and being able to not be attached and being able to let go, you don't, and it's a balance, because you don't want to be completely detached to where you can't form deep relationships with people. But you got to understand that they're not yours, they're not your possession, and that, hey, it won't last forever, and whatever the circumstance will be, that varies. You may be with them for a long time, and extenuating circumstances like, somebody passes away, unfortunately. That could be how you guys, break up or what have you. They're not in your life anymore, but, it's just a part of it. But guiding yourself to healthy relationships is always going to be a constant journey. It's going to be a constant influx of people coming in and out of your life. And some people have more of a stable influx than others, right? And that's fine. Some people will be with you on your journey longer. You guys will continue to be on the same journey, same path. And some people won't be on the same path with you at some point. And, being willing to let them go when it's necessary takes a lot of courage, especially when you have a lot of history with people. And when you love them. You love them. But it's necessary, and it's okay. I think what makes it okay is if your intentions are in the right place. You're not trying to be malicious or nasty to the person, just because you feel like that's not, in alignment with your journey, their road is not in alignment with your journey, then that's fine. You don't have to be nasty. It's a way to go about it, but it's still difficult, and it's still tricky navigating. So my sister is going through that with a friend, and it's difficult. Like I told her, I felt like I was going through that with a particular friend, and a family member. And, there's no bad blood, but I feel so much better that I don't really, hang out or talk to them as much anymore, because it felt problematic. It felt problematic, and it felt problematic because they were really going through some hard times, and me trying to be Mrs. Fix-It, trying to help them, and that ain't what you need to do. Then it creates a bad dynamic, and I do this a lot, and that was also something that I learned, is that I'll be Mrs. Therapist, and my sister told me, hey, quit offering advice and all that all the time, because people are going to expect that from you. That's going to be the dynamic of y'all relationship, and then you're going to feel resentful and feel used. But you play a part in that, right? And that was the dynamic of those relationships, and I played a part in that. I played a huge role in that. So I had to create some boundaries, and it was just a tough situation. But looking back, I learned a lot, and like I said, I feel that it was necessary to create a lot of space in those relationships. And initially I felt kind of bad about it, but I'm like, hey, you learned from it. You played a part. You're going to constantly learn about the parts you play, because it takes two in these relationships. But I feel a whole hell of a lot lighter and freer, now that I don't necessarily have those relationships in my life as close relationships, to be honest. And it like I said, I had to learn a lot about myself with being, Miss Therapist. Like, girl, okay, chill. You don't have to be somebody's therapist. You trying to figure out your own ish. Okay. And here you are trying to, again, like I said, I like to try. I don't like chaos. I don't like Who does, right? But, it's a part of life. You can't fix everything. Every time you're trying to fix everything, sometimes you make it worse. Let them be with their problems. It's okay to be there to support, but you don't have to try to make things right for them. It becomes a really unhealthy dynamic after a while. And so that's something I had to learn. It's been quite the journey with that. And so I'm on I've definitely empathize and sympathize with my sister. And just trying to be in a healthier way. And like I said, these spiritual journeys, all these things are very cyclical for people. And I think it's funny that she's going through something like that right now, and so am I. Just kind of, starting off a bit fresh. More of a clean slate, and being okay with that. It could be a bit lonely. You had all that noise and all that drama initially. There's always something going on, always something to do. It keeps you from dealing with yourself and your shit. When it's real quiet, you got to deal with yourself and your own shit. And that's icky. But it's necessary sometimes if you want to grow. Take out some of that noise and that drama. And that's what I was telling my sis, Sometimes to really realize things, you have to sometimes isolate yourself to hear yourself and be with yourself. That doesn't mean that I don't think it's healthy to completely isolate yourself all the time. But I do think at certain points of your life, you need that quiet. And you may need that quiet for an extended period. And that's okay. Sometimes you need the quiet to really sort through stuff. So relationships is a big part of the journey, right? It's an influx. People go in and out. Some relationships have to kind of, they have to change. They have to change. They may have to end. It just is what it is. And being an acceptance of that and being at peace with that, is really what you have to work on. And it's not easy. Like I said, we all want these attachments. We care for people. But, sometimes you gotta let go. Let go and let God, as they would say. But I think I've said enough. I'm on the first leg of my walk. I'm almost close to back to my place, and then I'll turn around and I'll walk it again. I'm really gonna look up on Amazon some walking sandals. It feels so good to have my feet out, even though these Nike sandals I have on feel really, really nice and yummy on the foot. But I would like some with better straps on them, so I can feel supported and don't feel like I have a flip-flop. Flip-flops feel so just unstable a bit. So some good straps would be nice. But I think that's enough. So grateful for this journal, this voice journal. I did this years ago, and I had an ex of mine listen to one of my journal entries, and it was about him, and it didn't turn out good. I was just talking to my sister about all the fuckery that I had going on when I was a teenager, and we're a decade apart. So when I was in my teen years, she was just I was in my upper teens, high school years. She was just a young thing, and she was just watching on the sidelines, all my drama. And I wasn't the most engaging big sister, so she was just kind of there, and she just tagged along. I wasn't very nurturing to her at all. And but she saw me go through all my drama with my boyfriends, and oh my God, and going through that period of high just sexuality, high sexual energy. And she unfortunately, had to be a part of seeing me go through all this stuff. And we were just laughing about all my drama and all the tea. And, she's like, look, and she was so quiet. So she was like, I was just like a fly on the wall. You guys didn't even pay me any attention. I'm like, yeah, you were so quiet. And she was like, yeah, because I was nosy and I was trying to soak up all the tea. And I'm like, well, honey, baby, you got all the tea. And it's funny looking back on it, but geez, oh, Pete, that's your teenage years. That's another interesting time to be alive, because you have all these hormonal issues going on, and you're growing into a sexual being, and it's a very, especially for a girl, you're very, very fertile, and your body is telling you to procreate, I feel. Okay. And so you're dealing with that, but then you're trying to be responsible, and then you're also, you really romanticize relationships with guys, so you're a bit unrealistic because you're immature. We're all immature in some aspects, but you're so driven off of your hormones that it makes you more emotional based than logic based. So it's just a lot going on, and I was dealing with other teen guys, so we were just all not very logical people. So it was an interesting time, and my sister got to be a part of that. And we were just laughing about it as we were recalling all the fuckery. It was just so much. It was so much. I'm dating this one guy, but then my mom's dating a guy, and I like her son, and so then I like his son. So then, while I'm dating one guy, that was very problematic, and I knew that. So I start kind of liking the son of my mom's boyfriend, and then I start cheating. Not kind of. Then I was cheating on my boyfriend at the time with the guy's son, and then the guy that I was in a relationship was mad, came to the house and was ringing the doorbell and belligerent, and the other guy was like way bigger than him and was real calm, and he didn't want no smoke. And so, but then my little sister's like right there like a fly on the wall, and then I'm all emotional, so then I go in the backyard, and I'm burning all the letters and pictures and stuff that the boyfriend gave me, and it mess, drama, right? But a part of my journey, and you could look back on it and you learn so much about yourself, and I think it's a good thing when you can laugh about it. You could laugh, you see how comical human nature is, and where you were at that time, where your mental space was at that time, what you were into. And I was heavily focused on romantic relationships at that time. And I think I and even to this day, I really appreciate romantic relationships. But, this particular journey that I'm on now is not so heavily focused on romantic relationships. And this is the first time in my life, to be honest with you, that has been the case, where I am way more heavily focused on the relationship that I have with myself. And not that I'm not open to romantic relationships, but I'm not actively working on that. I'm actively working on myself so I can have healthier relationships with people. And the relationships that I currently have, I'm always trying to be as healthy as possible in those. But actively searching for a romantic relationship, that's really not a focus right now. And that is a change. That is a big, 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 big change. Ooh, I guess I'm only walking around one time today. I checked my mailbox and I'm walking back in the house. That feels right. And I'm going to follow that energy. I'm going to follow that energy. I'm going to make myself something to eat. And work on some administrative things more than likely. I want to do some cleaning. So I may do that as well. Well, I'm going to bid you adieu. I hope that you're finding peace and acceptance in the space that you're currently in. As I'm working to do the same. And until next time, bye.